A wildfire is ripping through the hills northwest of Reno, and firefighters have not been able to contain a single acre of it. The Hawk Fire went from a modest 30-acre brush fire Saturday morning to more than 10,500 scorched acres by the time the sun came up Sunday, a tenfold plus expansion in less than half a day, fueled by winds that never let up overnight. More than 1,000 homes now sit in the fire's threat zone. Highway 395 is closed in both directions, and roughly 41,000 households are without power. Let's break down what's actually happening on the ground, why the fire weather turns so dangerous, and what to expect as the day unfolds, because today's outlook may actually be worse than yesterday's numbers suggest. Stick with me and I'll walk through it. First, the origin story, and it's a case study in how fast things can go wrong. Crews got their first call around 11:25 Saturday morning, August 22nd, in the Somerset neighborhood on Reno's northwest side, near the Hawk Meadow Trail area. The ignition point sat on Humboldt-Toya Bay National Forest land, on steep, rugged terrain along the slopes of Peavin Mountain. Within its first half hour, monitoring services already had the fire pegged at 30 to 40 acres and were warning that conditions were ripe for a fast blow-up. That call turned out to be dead-on accurate. By 3 p.m., the fire had ballooned to roughly 2,500 acres. By 7:30 that evening, it had topped 8,000. And when the National Interagency Fire Center updated its mapping at 11 p.m. Saturday night, the total stood at 10,522 acres, all of that growth packed into a single afternoon and evening. So why did it explode like that? 3 factors converged, and all 3 were at their worst yesterday: wind, dry air, and available fuel. The National Weather Service had issued a red flag warning covering much of northern Nevada, running through 11 p.m. Saturday, and the conditions backed it up. Relative humidity across Washoe County bottomed out around 12%, according to the NWS advisory, which is bone dry by any standard. The warning specifically pointed to that combination of low moisture and southwest winds running 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts reaching 40 miles per hour, as the recipe that lets fires outrun the crews trying to fight them. Truckee Meadows Fire Chief Richard Edwards summed up the challenge Saturday night, describing the Hawk Fire as a highly unpredictable incident being pushed almost entirely by wind. That wind shoved the fire northeast throughout the day, sending it toward North Virginia Street between Seneca Drive and Copperfield Drive, straight into a residential corridor. Then came the moment that changed everything. Saturday night, the fire leapt across Highway 395 near Peppermint Drive. When flames cross a major highway like that, it usually means burning embers are being carried hundreds of yards downwind of the main fire, a phenomenon firefighters call spotting. It's one of the most dangerous behaviors a wildfire can exhibit, because it lets the fire skip past containment lines before crews even finish building them. Let's turn to how this is actually affecting people on the ground in Reno, Verde, Somerset, and the neighboring communities. Governor Joe Lombardo has declared a state of emergency for Washoe County, which puts all Nevada state agencies under coordination through the Emergency Operations Center. The Washoe County Sheriff's Office has issued Level 3 Go Now evacuation orders for several neighborhoods, and that designation means one thing: leave immediately, don't wait, don't pack up slowly. Those mandatory zones include Somerset Peak, South Mountain, Sierra Canyon, the Peavin Back area, and the wider Somerset community north of Somerset Parkway. Saturday night, officials expanded the Go Now zone further, adding the area from 7th Street north to McCarran Boulevard. Meanwhile, the sheriff's office has Level 2 Get Set evacuation warnings, meaning be ready to leave at a moment's notice, covering Golden Valley, Lemon Valley, Stead, White Hills, and Panther Valley. The warnings don't stop at the state line either. Evacuation notices now extend into California's Sierra County, covering zones SIEE 024 and SIEE 061 in Long Valley, south of Highway 70. If you're in any of these zones and haven't left yet, don't wait this out. Wind-driven fires like this one can shift direction and speed with almost no warning. This matters if you're trying to move through the area this morning. Highway 395 is shut down in both directions between Parr Boulevard and Red Rock Road. That's the primary north-south route through the region, and it's completely closed to through traffic. Northbound 395 traffic is being stopped at Parr Boulevard, and all northbound on-ramps between Parr and Bordertown are closed. If you're evacuating from an area north of Red Rock Road, your route out is north on 395. Southbound off-ramps between Red Rock and Parr are also closed. Stay on the highway until you reach Reno proper. Nevada Highway Patrol troopers are stationed throughout the corridor directing traffic, so follow whatever instructions they give you on the ground. On the utilities side, Nevada Energy made the call Saturday night to shut off transmission lines running through the fire area, a precaution meant to stop the lines themselves from becoming an ignition source or fire pathway. The result, more than 41,000 NV Energy customers across Washoe County are without power this morning, and there's no firm timeline yet for restoration. The outages didn't stop at the state line. Roughly 37,000 customers across the Truckee and North Lake Tahoe region also lost power overnight. That breaks down to about 15,000 Truckee-Donner Public Utility District customers and roughly 22,000 Liberty Utilities customers in Glenshire and Loyalton. One more important detail: the emergency room at North Valley, an extension of Northern Nevada Medical Center, has temporarily shut its doors because of the evacuation order. If you're inside the evacuation zone and facing a medical emergency, call 911. Dispatchers will route you to an open facility. Reno police are urging residents not to tie up 911 lines to report the fire or ask general questions. Every one of those calls slows down response to actual emergencies. If you need evacuation maps or zone boundaries, the two official real-time sources are perimetermap.com and emergencywash.com. Nearly 400 personnel are actively working this fire right now, and it's worth pausing to acknowledge that. Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue is leading the incident, with backup from the Reno Fire Department, the U.S. Forest Service, the Bureau of Land Management, and the Nevada National Guard. In the air, tankers and helicopters have been dropping retardant, with C-130 and DC-10 aircraft cycling in and out of Minden Airport and Truckee-Tahoe Airport operations that continued straight through midnight Saturday. Incident Command has also pulled resources from the bug fire, which is now more than 80% contained, redirecting them to help with the Hawk Fire. On top of that, an additional 10 engines, 2 bulldozers, and 2 hand crews have been requested from CAL FIRE to reinforce the crews already on scene. According to the BLM, Saturday night's operational priority was straightforward: protect lives, safeguard communities, and defend key road corridors and utility infrastructure, not yet a structure-by-structure defense. Local officials have confirmed that some homes have already been lost, though a full damage assessment won't be complete for several days. Now let's look ahead to today, Sunday, August 23rd, because last night was brutal, but today's conditions could rival it. The fire remains at 0% containment as of this morning. Overnight, humidity across the Reno area failed to recover in any meaningful way. That matters a lot for fire behavior. On a normal night, humidity climbs back into the 30 to 50% range, giving crews their best window to build containment lines while the fire calms down. That recovery didn't happen here. Officials confirmed poor overnight humidity recovery, which means the fire kept burning actively through the night instead of slowing down. Overnight lows only dipped to around 61 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the National Weather Service, barely a dip at all, giving firefighters almost no relief before sunrise. For this afternoon, NWS is forecasting a high near 92 degrees Fahrenheit, west winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour, and gusts up to 20 miles per hour, more than enough to keep an uncontained fire active. Incident commanders said overnight that today's conditions are likely to support continued spread, an assessment that came directly from fire managers on the ground, rather than the Weather Service itself. Looking further out, NWS data shows highs holding in the 91 to 92 degree F range through at least Thursday, with no major pattern shift and no rain in sight. Add in afternoon wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour, humidity likely staying under 20%, and a fire that's still completely uncontained, and the risk picture stays serious. The current fire perimeter is enormous, and the chance of new spot fires, new runs, and new evacuation orders this afternoon is very real. Let's step back for a moment, because this isn't just about one fire, it's about the conditions that made it possible. Every corner of Nevada currently falls into at least the abnormally dry category, and large portions of the state are in active drought. Temperatures across western Nevada have been running above normal, and forecasters expect the extreme heat to hold through the end of August and potentially spill into September. There's also a major contributing factor that rarely gets discussed: cheatgrass. This invasive non-native grass has spread across millions of acres of Nevada rangeland. It grows quickly, dries out early in the season, and ignites with almost no resistance. In effect, cheatgrass has stretched Nevada's fire season longer than it used to be and blanketed the Great Basin in a nearly unbroken layer of fine, fast-burning fuel. That's precisely the mechanism behind what's unfolding in Washoe County. The Hawk Fire is moving through terrain primed by exactly this combination: drought, invasive grass, and relentless wind. The Hawk Fire isn't happening in isolation. Nevada as a whole is under significant fire pressure right now. The Mouse Meadow Fire in Nye County is currently the largest fire tract in the state, sitting near 52,000 acres and about 80% contained. The Stallion Fire, also in Washoe County, has burned roughly 40,000 acres and is around 81% contained. The Quail Springs Fire in Lincoln County covers about 13,600 acres and is 95% contained, while the Ward Fire in White Pine County sits at 96% containment. Those numbers are genuinely reassuring, but the concern is that the Hawk Fire is new, aggressive, and sitting at 0% containment in one of the most densely populated parts of the region. This is also unfolding against a backdrop of stretched firefighting resources across the entire western U.S. Nearly 29,000 personnel are currently deployed nationwide, and more than a dozen fires across the West have each burned past the 100,000 acre mark this season. It's shaping up to be an intense, resource-heavy fire year across the country. That's exactly why mutual aid like the crews and equipment California is sending right now matters so much, even though staging and deploying that support takes real time. If you're anywhere in the Reno-Sparks metro area, the Sierra Nevada foothills, or the Lake Tahoe Basin today, expect noticeable smoke impacts, since the fire is burning upwind of heavily populated communities. That smoke is expected to keep drifting down valley through the day, so check your local air quality index before spending time outside. If you fall into a sensitive group: kids, older adults, anyone with respiratory issues, it's worth limiting outdoor time for as long as the fire remains active and smoke lingers. And if you're near but not inside an evacuation zone, keep your windows shut, run your HVAC system on recirculate, and have a go bag packed and ready, just in case. The University of Nevada, Reno has confirmed its main campus currently falls outside any evacuation zone. University leadership says they're continuing to monitor the situation closely. If you're a student, faculty member, or family connected to the university, keep an eye on UNR's official channels at unr.edu for anything that could affect campus operations. If you still need somewhere to go this morning, the Reno-Sparks Convention Center Hall 4, at 4590 South Virginia Street, is currently the main evacuation shelter that's open. The Evelyn Mount Northeast Community Center on Valley Road has already reached capacity, so head to the convention center instead. If you have horses, goats, or other livestock and need help evacuating them, reach out to Washoe County for large animal evacuation support. Do not leave animals behind if you're given an evacuation order.
Ta-ra! For anyone who needs lodging but can't get into a shelter, Silver Legacy, El Dorado, and Circus Reno are all offering emergency rooms at a discounted rate of $59 a night.
Pulling this all together, the single biggest variable right now is wind. If it stays elevated overnight, crews will have very little opportunity to make real progress on containment. Keep an eye on updates from the Washoe County Sheriff's Office and Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue in the early morning hours, since new evacuation orders could come with little warning. The most dangerous window today will likely be the afternoon, roughly noon to 7 p.m., when heat, low humidity, and wind all peak together. If you're anywhere near the fire zone and get an evacuation order today, act on it right away. Don't wait to see if things get worse, because they can, quickly. This is still an evolving situation, and I'll keep this updated as conditions change throughout the day. The Hawk Fire is a fast-moving, wind-driven firestorm burning through the mountains northwest of Reno, and it's far from finished growing. 0% contained, over 10,000 acres burned, more than 1,000 homes threatened, 41,000 customers without power, Highway 395 closed, and more dangerous fire weather on the way this afternoon. To the firefighters and emergency crews working through the smoke on the steep terrain of Peavin Mountain right now, thank you for what you're doing. And to everyone in Reno, Verde, Somerset, and the surrounding communities, your safety comes first. Please follow every evacuation order you receive. Stay safe out there. I'll be back with updates as soon as the situation changes.